Michigan's new phased-in pension tax constitutional? That's a question here that now sits with the state's highest court. And 24-Hour News 8's Tony Talavia was at the Supreme Court for arguments today. He's live now in Lansing. Tony, what happened there?
Good afternoon, Brett. The governor asked the Supreme Court to take up this issue, trying to get this ironed out as quickly as possible. And today, the justices of the Michigan Supreme Court heard arguments from both sides. The justices honed in on a couple of questions in particular. First, is this law illegal because the Constitution prohibits, quote, diminishing or impairing state pension plans and retirement systems? Critics say that's exactly what this law is, but backers say taxing benefits does not mean diminishing the benefit itself. Now, the second issue, is this a graduated tax? Because there are exemptions and people with certain incomes get no exemptions. The state constitution prohibits a graduated income tax like the one that's happening at the federal level. Critics say this is just like that, but backers say it's not. They say the Constitution specifically prohibits using a backdoor way to implement the federal income tax. They say this is simply not the same, that unlike the federal system where people might get taxed at different levels for their first $20,000, a higher level later on, they're saying each taxpayer pays only one rate, so it's not a graduated tax. Now, no decision today. We were told by a spokeswoman for the Michigan Supreme Court that it might be their intention to try and get this done before October 1st. That's when the pension tax goes into effect. One more interesting side note, both sides of this case are being argued by the Michigan Attorney General's office. That's part of this expedited process. We'll keep an eye on what happens here in Lansing. Later today, you'll hear from some of the public employees who came here because they have a vested interest in this. You'll hear what the AARP has to say and what the Lieutenant Governor has to say. That's later today on 24-Hour News 8. Live outside the state Supreme Court, Tony Talavia, 24-Hour News 8.
All right, thank you.